Good morning. This is Dwight Colby Smith in Richmond, Virginia. Pardon the interruption, my cat Bo decided to come up on my lap, so I thought while he was getting settled, I would just not involve you in that. So it's a beautiful cat. I'm on today because I have one of my followers on YouTube that first appreciates my YouTubes, chapel-in-the-sky. Hyphens are necessary. And then look for my picture. But he asked if I thought someone in our present history is an antichrist. I thought, wow, you know, I'd really like to talk to him interactively because I think it deserves that. And as I contemplated that, I thought, well, maybe I'll send him a YouTube. And I thought, this is something that the world, the citizens of the world, the followers of any religion need to hear. Christ to me, okay, not Jesus, but Christ, the Christ of Jesus, the Father of Jesus, the God essence in, through, and as everything that is, okay. If you can't accept that, you may as well turn this off because I'm probably only going to upset you. But if you're in favor of this, open to this, I ask you to hang in there because I still believe we can see world peace by December 31st, 2018. Today it happens to be November 16th, I think it is. It's Friday. Yeah, Friday. So let me talk about Christ first. Christ as I see it through Jesus. Jesus is a Christ, not the Christ. He is an example of the Christ. He is a fulfillment. He is the potential of the Christ consciousness of every one of us. If we are in this Christ consciousness as an individual or collectively, we are loving without conditions, and that's a tall order for people. Because when we see the killings, the mass murders, the abuses on women and young girls and all people, all races, this separation of us and them, that cannot be Christ. But if we get the same collective, thinking of all of us living as Jesus lived, we have a different world, don't we? We have a world of acceptance, a world of authenticity where we can be honest with each other instead of hiding our lives or our fears or overshadowing them with the false power of strength, of will. So anything that's working in this arena of human society is in the arena of the Antichrist. We're working against the love, the peace, the joy, the acceptance, the oneness, the desire to assist one another as others assist us. This is what brotherly, sisterly love was and is meant to be. Is loving one another does not mean we kill, does not mean that we punish. Loving one another means we support, we encourage, we assist, we heal. We're constructive, we're working toward a humanity, a government, an education, a justice, all these systems working together where we all live. And so it goes back to something very, very basic. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the world was void and without form. Before the beginning, there was nothing. There was nothing but this something we call God. It must be an energy. It cannot be seen. It cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. This essence is first begins as space, but from that space comes consciousness, and consciousness becomes form, and form individualizes itself of its own consciousness. You and I right now are in a collective consciousness. I don't know yours, but I'm only looking for the Christ of you, because that's all I want to see is the Christ. And however you act is how you use your consciousness, how you use your Christ self. Christ just says, I'm going to love you. I don't care what you do. I'm going to love you. I don't care what you want to do. I'm the life of you. I'm the consciousness of you to perform whatever activity that is. I love saying I cannot not be God. The only way God can be everywhere present is to be everything that is. And that's so simple. You know, I don't think about separating myself from my life, the very life energy that is animating me right now. I can't separate myself from that except with death. And then the body dies, but not the life of me. The life of me continues on, as we all know. When we see a bigger God, okay, Jesus came to give us a new God. He said the old God is a myth. There is no God that punishes. There is no God that has chosen people. There is God, and that's all there is. God can't make sin. God can't make people starve. All this is man's doing. And until we learn that being made in the image and likeness of God is not in the image and likeness of a human being or any entity. We are the image and likeness of the everything that is. I use Jesus a lot because Jesus is my master. As Buddha is the master of the Buddhists, and Muhammad of the Muslims, and on and on and on. They're all masters, but they're all the same thing. They're all saying we are one. Every one of them is saying we are one. There is no sin. Brotherly, sisterly love is a teaching, not of the masters of God itself. These are only the people that have touched it. I touch it all the time. You touch it all the time. We touch it. Well, we cannot not touch it in truth. So I don't know if this sounds to me that this could be confusing because I keep going the back and forth. But I hope that you see that what I'm doing is I'm showing the polarity. Which one do you want? Which is the world you want to create? The world I'm creating is heaven on earth. For myself, my wife and myself, our family, our neighbors, our members that are of our spiritual community. We are creating, and we're not the only ones all over the world. And hopefully you're one of these lights yourself. And if not, I invite you to awaken, open to the possibility that God is everything that is. And we've got to stop fighting over my God is bigger than your God, or my God is more right than your God, or my God is this or that. All of us are all God. A leader of Yogaville near Richmond has a saying, and I think it's probably of the Buddha, but just in case it's personalized, I want to do that. And it's, the truth is one, and the paths are many. And one of the ways that Buddha explains that is, there are many paths to the top of the mountain, and they all get you there. Some are more difficult than others. We get to choose our path. We, in truth, create our own God. Our own concept of God is ours. We can believe what others have been telling us, or we can process and digest that and say, is this all there is? Is this what God really is? Why would God create this way? How does it benefit God for man not to sin? It benefits man not to sin. And I'm using sin in a very, very broad way. because for some, every bad thought we've had is a sin, and Jesus says there is no sin. There's no sin that's greater or lesser than any other sin. What mankind does is part of our free will. God wouldn't give us free will if it were that kind of a God that gives and takes. He wouldn't give us free will and then punish us for using it in a free way. I mean, there's so many things that if we remove the limitations, the dogma, what we've been told about God or about religion or even about Jesus, and seek the truth that makes us free, we're going to find that all religions bring us to the same place. They all bring us to peace on earth. But when we separate ourselves from each other, we are creating conflict and chaos on the earth. And I would venture, there are two forces of Antichrist. Ooh, thank you. I'm just going to call him out because I'm thankful for this. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you for bringing this forth. So, and I'm just hearing this in this now moment. This is just, coming direct. That there are two forces, major forces of Antichrist. One is religion. And that's hard to believe because we fight so hard that our religion is right. And it's that fight, it's that separation, it's that disqualifier of another's religion or another's path as being wrong and how it's being the only right. How small is that God? I mean, think about it. How small is that God? There are those, and I'm going to speak from the Christian again. When I was growing up Baptist, and I don't know if it's changed, hopefully it has, but they said that no one but born-again Christians go to heaven, have an afterlife of joy and peace and love. Whereas everyone else, every unborn, even if they never heard of the name Jesus, go to hell, go to eternal damnation, darkness, worse than what we see creating here on earth. But we have quite a hell here. This is the way of the world. Okay? So religion is one of the major one. Most of the major wars are fought over religion, arguments over religion. And then another major one is the whole economic system. Because those at the top, those in control of the funds, keep investing in things which keep the rich richer, but they're not giving back to the lower echelons, the lower castes, the poor, the so-called underdog. And if they don't feed it back, it's going to topple. All that money's at the top. They're hoarding it. They're all sharing this money with each other. And in that, they're not giving it back to those who actually will feed them. Okay? I don't know, makes sense in my mind. But the Antichrist is anything that's not constructive, is the way Ernest Holmes says it. The Christ is constructive, everything that constructs toward oneness, everything that constructs toward the recognition that as we look at nature and its beauty and how well it works with every element of itself, every tree, every spider, every slug, every insect, everything in that forest is part of its creation, part of its nourishment and enrichment, both in giving and receiving. We humans have separated ourselves from nature, but that same God of nature that has it all harmonious and perfect balance is also true of humanity. But we believe in a different God than we believe in the God of nature. So I call nature the unadulterated God, and I call religion the adulterated God. And I think there's a lot of truth in this. So my friend Timothy, thank you for this. I don't know if this answers your question. And if not, please, let's continue talking. If there's a time you want to talk personally, other than the whole world listening in, I hope the whole world listens in on this. I would be very grateful to you for that. Christ Universal would be grateful for that. Humanity, the citizens of the earth, will be grateful for that. So I'm grateful that you've allowed me to bring this to the world. And I just see it as the seed that keeps growing, the fruit, the vine that keeps growing, the setting the world on fire, as Jesus said, "Oh, I came to set fire to the world, and oh, that we're already kindled." And now it is. And this could be the peace that breathes on that kindling and brings it into the flame of the Holy Spirit. I'm going to put this down just a moment. You can pause that if you want to see what it says. It says coexist, and that's the world that I, with you, am creating. And then we, with all others, are creating, because there's many, many, many of us on our world. And we saw more of them come out in our last midterm election because people are looking at what they don't want and what they do want. We had people come forward in the first time running for Congress, and because of their passion, because of their support of this is what the world is coming to, they got elected. We've got some really dynamite people coming into our government. So, and supposedly it's government of the people, by the people, for the people, we the people. And we may be bringing it back, and I would love to see that, because America was made, our founders brought this government, this constitution, this way of life forth for freedom for all people. Religious freedom, freedom of speech, religion. I mean, on and on and on, freedom. Now, we've taken that to an extent where we allow destructive, anti-Christ type attitudes to also have free speech, which, in a just society, that's not needed, that's not going to be acknowledged, that's not going to be reinforced. A world of love, a world of peace, desires not for people to come. They can have their time, they can have their time, but go and don't try to put yourselves on other people. We all deserve to live together as one people with respect and dignity and equality. And I'm going to end because I could go on this forever. Thank you again, Timothy. And may this day that you find the peace that I have right now, the love I have right now, may you, whoever is watching this, may you find this and have this. And just let your mind go into the stillness and silence. And just breathe and let all sounds around you to just be there without interruption, without any anxiety. In this moment, just choose to be in peace, in love with God, in love with the whole universe, in love with the beauty, in love with all the plants that provide air for us to breathe, for the water that we drink, the land that we plant and grow things from, the meat that we eat, the sun that we receive. It's not just the sun of Earth, it's the sun of the entire solar system and beyond. Be thankful for the creator of all of this, for this truly is the creator of you and me and all around us. It is the creator of the houses we're in because it is the idea of the house and the manifestation of the house through human means and through God elements of our earth. God is all and all is God regardless of what we call it. It is only one creator of all that is. It's time for humanity to be the hands and the feet, the mouths and the ears and the heart, the compassion, the love of the Creator. As we come from our heart that connects us one with another rather than our intellect that separates us from one another. Our hearts connect us one with another, and the intellect is what individualizes us, separates us in appearance from one another. I live from the heart. The heart is what I look for and find in everyone I'm with. I love everyone I meet, and I love those from the past that have seemed to be in conflict with me, who have been my greatest teachers and greatest lessons for me to learn how to love myself so I could love them as well. Thank you so very much for being with me today. And Timothy, thank you again for allowing this to come forth. I love you, my brother. Thank you for your encouragement and your questions. And may you have the peace, the joy, the health, the Christ that you seek, that's already within you and within everyone. God bless. Namaste.